Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we dive into the exciting world of golf equipment. Yes, you heard me right, golf, but trust me, this isn't your grandpa's golf course. We're about to uncover some interesting details inside Acushnet Holdings' latest annual report. Turns out, even the seemingly simple world of golf balls and clubs has its fair share of corporate twists and turns. To start, you won't find any restatements of previous financials here. No need for that in the world of golf. This report incorporates information from their upcoming proxy statement, which will cover things like who's on the board, how much the executives make, and other corporate governance stuff. That proxy statement is expected sometime before the summer. Let's tee off with a quick overview of Acushnet. They're the folks behind the big names in golf, Titleist and FootJoy. Think top quality balls, clubs, shoes, and gloves. They're all about targeting the dedicated golfer, those folks who are super serious about improving their game and are willing to spend the money to do it. Speaking of the game, Acushnet mentions something interesting. The number of rounds played actually increased during 2020 and 2021. It seems like the pandemic and hybrid work schedules gave people more time to hit the links. And guess what? Even in 2024, rounds played were still way up compared to before the pandemic. They expect that the amount of golf played will hold steady and remain robust in 2025, driven by golfers and their demographics. So, how does Acushnet plan to keep things going strong? A big part of their strategy is introducing new products, but they're trying to strike a balance. Not so often that people get overwhelmed, but enough to satisfy those dedicated golfers who always want the latest and greatest. For Titleist golf balls, innovation never stops. They are launching new versions with new core technology. For clubs, they will encourage golfers to get custom fittings. Meanwhile, FootJoy is focusing on creating new footwear with specialized performance. Beyond the mainstays of balls and clubs, they want to expand into other areas like golf gear. This is apparel and accessories, building on brand loyalty. Also, keep an eye out for potential acquisitions of premium brands that can take advantage of their global distribution network. Now let's talk money. For the full year, they raked in sales of about $2.46 billion, resulting in a net income of around $214 million. You'll notice that the ticker for Acushnet is Golf, very appropriate. But it's not all sunshine and birdies. The report outlines a number of risks, and it wouldn't be an SEC filing without them. One that pops out is weather. Bad weather means fewer rounds of golf, which means less money spent on, especially those consumable items like balls and gloves. A long winter or a rainy spring can hurt sales. Another interesting risk has to do with the rules of golf. It turns out that the United States Golf Association and the Royal and Ancient Golf Club of St. Andrews, the people who make the rules might change the rules on equipment like golf balls and drivers, limiting how far they can go. If they do, Acushnet might have to spend a lot more on research and development to create new, conforming products. Acushnet operates all over the world and relies on suppliers in and outside the US when doing business globally. It is important to be on top of currency transaction and translation risks that could materially affect the company if ignored. Being a major brand in golf means constantly playing defense against intellectual property theft. Protecting patents and trademarks is a must. They currently have over 830 active US patents for golf balls and close to 750 active US patents for clubs, wedges, and putters. Defending those patents can get expensive, time-consuming, and pull management away from running the business. The report mentions AI and the challenges the technology can create for their business, including security risks, uncertain regulatory environment, and the impact from providers of the generative AI tools. They have implemented some policies and procedures to mitigate the risks of AI, but bad actors and users can still negatively affect Acushnet. Like many companies, Acushnet has debt. In fact, they have $768.9 million of it. Servicing that debt requires a significant amount of cash, and their ability to generate that cash depends on a lot of factors, some of which are out of their control. They also have agreements that limit their flexibility in operating their business. Here's something interesting. A company called Magnus Holdings owns a big chunk of Acushnet's stock, over 51%. Because of that, Magnus gets a lot of say in how the company is run. They have the ability to control the election and removal of directors and thereby effectively determine the payment of dividends. What's good for Magnus might not always be good for other stockholders, so it is important to keep this in mind. Moving on to their employees, Acushnet highlights their commitment to things like inclusion, safety, and workplace flexibility. Sounds good, but what do they do with all their employees? Well, approximately 55% are in manufacturing roles across their global manufacturing footprint, and approximately 50% of the global associates are women. They use these foreign currency forward contracts in order to try and minimize the impact of fluctuations. But they make the point that these hedging activities, while helpful, cannot eliminate the effects of foreign currency transaction risk on the company's results. In today's world, cybersecurity is a must, so Acushnet maintains a global cybersecurity risk management program. It is supervised by a dedicated senior director of cyber and information security. Their audit committee receives updates every quarter about cyber risks and projects. They engage outside parties to test the cybersecurity systems. The audit committee has responsibility to oversee the cyber and information security program, which has controls for our systems, applications, databases, and for our third-party providers. So what's my take on all of this? First off, Acushnet seems to know its market. The company has established a great brand identity, and their commitment to high performance is what drives the business. Weather and economic factors will always be a concern for discretionary spending that may affect their business. And while the company has had consistently strong results for the past few years, it remains something to keep in mind as we navigate ever-changing economic conditions. A potential concern is their debt. While they seem to be managing it well, a high debt load can make it harder to adapt to changing market conditions. Another big risk which many companies face is cybersecurity. A major breach could disrupt operations and damage their reputation. Finally, having a majority shareholder can sometimes create conflicts of interest, where the controlling owner's goals don't perfectly align with those of other investors. In conclusion, Acushnet is a well-managed company with strong brands in a niche market. It faces some manageable risks. Their prospects are tied to factors like consumer spending and weather, but their focus on quality and innovation should help them navigate any challenges. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more corporate deep dives.